Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever market forecast for the new year 2026. I wish you guys all the best for this new year. My name is Mahlodi Banda, and I'm a consistently profitable Forex trader. Now, we're going to be doing a forecast for GBPUSD because if you are a regular viewer on my YouTube channel, then you know that I trade GBPUSD only. I have mastered how GBPUSD moves. I really love trading GBPUSD. It has worked for me. I just believe in taking up a lot size. That's just me. Cool. Now, um, looking at this, right, before I get into this, I just want to say that when I am doing my weekend forecast or analysis, I try to see if market is going to be giving me high probability setups or low probability setups. Now, let me break that down. To me, high probability setups are setups where market analysis aligns on all time frames, right? Now, let me make an example with this area over here, right? This area over here, right? Let me do the replay buttons. I want to start new. Cool. Now, as you can see over here, market came from the top, came to retest the break, right? And then went up, broke this area over here, came back down to retest this area over here, and then now we're expecting it to go up. Cool. Now, when we go down to the lower time frames at this area over here, you can see that the candlesticks that have been printed already over here are candlesticks that indicate that we are indeed going up. And then when we go down to the 4 hour and we can look at the structure that the market um is creating higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And then when we go down to the 1 hour, you can see even with the structure that the market is creating, still unable to break, right? Cool. Now let's go back to the weekly chart. And now for what a low probability setup is for me, right? A low probability setup for me is when you look at the market, you can see on a higher time frames that the market is buying. Okay, for example, what the market is doing right now with this GBP USD. Now, if you look at that, right, market broke that area, came down to retrace it, right? But then we know that the market has to buy and go up. It has to buy, and then when we go down to the lower time frames, you can see that the market is still selling. Selling why? Because it has to correct itself and that sort of thing. We go down to the 4 hour chart, we see more of irregular price action, structural price action movements, and stuff like that. We go down to the 1 hour, it's even worse. But you can see the structure that the market is creating, still irregular, still wishy-washy, wabi-sabi, and that sort of thing. So those are low probability setups. So having defined that and looked at what the market is doing right now on GBP USD on the higher time frames, going down to the lower time frames, as I was explaining what a low probability setup is for me, I can tell that this is going to be a low probability setup, a low probability trades for me. Now, what that means is that I can't take trades uh based on my 1 hour structure, neither my 4 hour structure, but I will be taking trades based on my 1 hour structure. I hope I made sense with that. Cool. Now, as you can see on the weekly, right, this is where the market is, right? The nearest supply area or support area, not supply, the nearest support area is this area over here, this red line. And then the nearest resistance area is this line over here. So for now, I'm just going to be looking at what's happening within within those areas. Cool. But now when we go down to the daily, right, we see that okay, there is this area over here. right? This area over here is an area that ideally market would have come to, right? Enter trade to buy to the top side, which is what we will see when we go down to the 4 hour time frame. And we see exactly that. Now, on the 4 hour, I like to look at the structure that the market is creating. And now when I look at the structure, right, you can see that market came up, broke this, right? Went up. Okay. Market went from there, broke this area over here, went up, right? And then from there, it started creating lower highs, higher lows, not quite sure. But then market was creating price action that couldn't break the previous high, that vibe. And then it eventually broke this area over here. Eventually broke it, went to go retest this area over here, went up, right? Now over here, I would like to see some, if there's like a fair value gap or an order block that the market has to retrace and that sort of thing. Cool. Now we're gonna go down to the 1 hour. Let's look for fair value gaps on the 1 hour. So I have been experimenting with fair value gaps. Sometimes I get them wrong, sometimes I get them right, but it is cool. Okay, it is cool. Now this is dope. This too is cool, and so on and so on. But because market has already printed, or rather respected, one of the fair value gaps, I'm gonna delete the one that market does not, and then go down to the lower time frames, right? And we see, okay, over here there is a fair value gap. There is an order block, my bad. So I noticed that order blocks and fair value gaps go in hand in hand, go hand in hand. Where you find a fair value gap, you will find an order block. And I feel like when I was backtesting fair value gaps versus order blocks, the fair value gap that is most likely to be retested is a fair value gap where you find an order block. So yeah, that's that on that. Cool. So now you can see on, let's go back to the 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, that was retested. Cool. Now, this piece of price action over here is irregular. So what I am going to do, right, is that I have two ways that I would like to enter this trade, right? If I'm going to be trading this from the 15-minute chart, right, I would first like to see how market opens during the Asian session, and how that opens in the Asian session will determine how I then take the trade. Cool. But then let's go to the 4 hour, because we really need to find something. We're not forcing market, okay? We're not forcing market. We're just gonna look at what the market is giving us at this moment, and then we're gonna react accordingly. Now, this area too is an area where the market has not market did not break. Now, I don't want to like contradict myself, but the market does contradict itself, and the market is fractal, meaning that the market is broken. Now, because the market is broken, it does not mean that every plan that you have for the market is going to go as planned, right? And this is a low probability setup. Therefore, I need to have a plan for the 4 hour, for the 1 hour, for the 15-minute. Cool. Now, on the 4 hour, what I would like to do, right, is to see if I can't enter the trade over here, a sell over here, because it looks as if the market is selling overall. what's happening. Yeah. Selling over here. Stop loss maybe. But this is too much risk for me. Have that as my take profit. So this is plan number one for this, and this would be me trading this structure over here. Let's do this. Yeah. Trading this structure over here. Right? Retest one, right? Maybe have a retest two. But if this here reaches this area over here, let me show you guys how I'm gonna take the trade. If this comes down to here, then I'm gonna take this trade. I don't really like ideally I would say structure, right? And this is a 15-minute 4 hour uh this is a 4 hour chart, so we can definitely risk this much. So this is how I would take this trade on the 4 hour. So those are my two plans for the 4 hour. Another plan for the 1 hour, right? Um, let's do this. Come here. 1 hour. But then, if I wanted a high probability trade, right? I would just wait for the market to break either one of these black areas, and then I will react based on that. I want market to break either one of these um, areas, or come to those areas, and then I will see what kind of price action market creates from there, and then I will take it from there. That may look like a buy from here, right? Or from that exact same, right? Market could break and then create that. Or market could come here and sell from there. Or market could just break and just, you know. So this is exactly what I am seeing with this. I don't like to speculate where the market is gonna go, but I like to react based on what the market is showing me and what the market is giving me. So yeah, guys, that's that on that. Thank you for watching, and once again, Happy New Year.